Hi friends, welcome. It's Lisa Maynard and this is Kit Crush Wednesday. I'm so excited that you're here joining me tonight. We are going to take a look at a kit that is more geared towards a masculine theme. And so I can't wait to show that to you. We are going to just wait a couple minutes, see if a couple people jump on and are able to find us. And it looks like they have. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and show you the cards that we're going to be making tonight. As I've already prepped 3 of them like I normally do. And this kit makes 6 cards. So usually I would show you the kit and what's in the kit and the box and everything. Well, I won't be doing that tonight because, again, it makes 6 cards. So I've made 3 and I've prepped the other 3. So I don't have a lot to show you tonight, but let's take a little closer look at these cards. They're obviously, this is called the Maritime Moments Kit. So it is obviously ocean, sail, boat, marina themed. And although it is more masculine, that doesn't mean you can't use it for anyone that you would send a card to. So here we have one that's a celebrate the good life. So this is very cool. And we're going to do, all of the sentiments have already been pre-printed, but we're going to do some other stamping with images tonight instead of the sentiments. So this is the card. And then they have matching envelopes. You could obviously mix and match, but the inside of the envelopes kind of match up to the card. Here's another one. This does say to a great guy. So this would obviously be a masculine card with the sailboat. We're going to do some stamping here. And again, the inside of the envelope matches up to that card base. And the final one, best wishes for a perfect day. And we're going to do some stamping on that. And once again, that inside of that envelope matches up to that card base. So those are the 3 cards we're going to be working with tonight, or we're going to be making. And so I'm going to go ahead and set these aside. And I'm going to bring in, just because I won't be able to show you everything, but I will be able to show you, you always have your instructions, just as this with any other kit. So we have our instructions. We also have with this, we would have our block, our stamping block. With each kit, you get a stamping block if it is a stamping kit. With Paper Pumpkin, you get 1. So we have our block. We also have some tearing tape, which we're going to use. I've already prepped that. Some mini glue dots, some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I will keep those handy. We have a little bit of linen thread here that we're going to use. The stamp spot this month, or this kit, is gray granite. This is a great color, by the way. Then we would have our stamps. However, I have already put all the stamps on blocks. So there is just a quick peek at what the stamps are going to look like. But I've already got those on blocks, so I don't actually have those for you to see at the moment. So I just prepped those ahead of time. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move all this stuff aside because we don't need it at the moment. I'm going to leave my Stampin' Dimensionals there just in case. And I'm going to grab my bone folder here real quick. And we're going to bring in the first card and all the parts and pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and take those off of there. Now we've got a good grayish base card. So we're going to fold it in half and burnish that with our bolt folder. Look how dirty my bolt folder is. That needs to be cleaned a little bit. Oh, it's been worn just a bit, friends. It's been used. Okay, so there we have that. Now we have all of our parts and pieces, and I've already prepped all of those, but we are going to do some stamping on this layering piece right here. And instead of opening that little stamp spot, sorry about that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my full-size stamp pad in the gray granite just for ease of my use. If you want to purchase the stamp pads from Stampin' Up, they're awesome. The stamp spots are great. I prefer, obviously, the full-size pads. But that doesn't mean you can't do this kit with the all the supplies that come with it. You absolutely can. I'm just doing this because it makes it easier for me personally. So we're going to go ahead and stamp the image. It is a lighthouse in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp with the gray granite. And we are going to go ahead and stamp this in the background. And it's going to, there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see this, there's a little bit of a indent right there. That's cut out because that is going to go over, I'll grab some glasses here so I can better see what I'm doing. That is going to go over this little hill and bushes right there. And it's going to kind of stamp off a little bit to the edge there. But there we go. It's pretty perfect if you ask me. That went right in there just really well. So I'm going to set that stamp aside. I'm going to set the stamp pad aside. And we're going to go ahead and come in and put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this. Now these are mini ones. And so I'm going to use quite a few of them here because this piece is going to layer up. And so I'm going to go ahead and put those there. I'm going to take the backings off of these fairly quickly. Sometimes the mini Stampin' Dimensional backings are a little bit more resistant to being taken off. So let's go ahead and get those off. That one's being stubborn. Okay, bring this in and we are going to layer this in the middle of our card. Top to bottom, left to right. Actually, no, we're not. Hold on just a second. I forgot a step. Oh my goodness, that would have not been good. We're actually going to put this piece on first, this blue plaid piece. And we have already put, I'm so sorry, we've already put the tear and tape on here. And if you remember my little trick, we're going to burnish it with the bone folder here. And that just makes it secure to the paper very well. And somewhere on my desk, I'm going to grab my take your pick. And this paper is going to come off super easy. Just a little trick for you. If you don't know that already, just burnish that tear and tape and the backing comes off super, super easy. Now we're going to layer this piece first. So it's going to layer to the right of my card and about a quarter to a half an inch in from the right and fairly even from the top to the bottom. And I'm just going to give that a nice little press. That looks pretty good, just like that. So now we're going to come in with the piece we just stamped. And this is going to come over here. We're going to center it up and down, but we're going to move it over a little bit so we can have some of that blue showing, that blue plaid, just a nice layered look. If you saw, if you watched my last live, we did the heirloom editions or the heirloom kit where we had multiple different layers and all the butterflies. This is kind of along those lines, this kit kind of along those lines. So, okay, moving on. We are going to take this little layering piece here and again, burnish that with our bone folder and come in and take the backing off. Now, the backing on this one, I put more as it's flipped over to the right. So it would be on the left as you flip it over. So more to the right because there is going to be a portion of this that is going to hang off that layering piece. And it really doesn't need to have any tear and tape on it because it doesn't have anything to attach to. So you could also, if you wanted to, put a Stampin' Dimensional under that just to be on the safe side, but it's not necessary. Now, the next piece we're going to bring in is our little coral and seashells here, not seashells, starfish. And we're going to go ahead and it's got the mini glue dots on the back. I'm going to go ahead and take these off just like so. And go ahead and come in and this is going to layer right along here. And the glue dots are in positions where it is going to adhere to the paper. So don't put them over here because that's not going to do any good. So right there. And then the final part is we're going to put on our sentiment, and we've got the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. Go ahead and take those off. If you don't know, the Stampin' Dimensionals are the little foam pieces that pop your parts. Well, that didn't come off. That pop your parts of your card up, whether it's the sentiment or layering or whatever that may be. And there we go. We have completed one card. Celebrate the good life. It's very cool. I love all the layers. Like I said, in a masculine way, it reminds me of the heirloom kit that we did last week or the week before with all the different layers and stuff. So very cool card. Let's go ahead and bring in the parts and pieces to the next card. And again, we're going to fold this in half, take our bone folder and burnish that very nicely, just like so. And then I have prepped these ahead of time, so I need to refresh my memory of what goes first. All right, we are going to, again, do some stamping on here, but we're going to do two stamps. We're going to use this kind of floral stamp, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping at the top, and it's going to layer under our sentiment. Now, it doesn't really matter which way you do it. It's just going to be at an angle. So we're going to come in about like so, and we're going to go ahead and just stamp that on there, just like that. Perfect. And then we're going to come in with our sailboat and our clouds, or the sea as it is, and we're going to stamp this sailboat right along the horizon to the left of that sailboat. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but behind the sailboat, those seem to be the clouds, and the little lines and the horizon are the sailboat. So I'm going to try and line up the cloud line with the little greenish of the horizon and stamp that so it looks like that sailboat is in the ocean and the top part of it is, you know, above the water. So that's how that turned out. Very, very cool. Very nice. So again, I'm going to move that out of the way. This is our layering piece. And so again, I'm going to come in here with our Stampin' Dimensionals and get all these on here. Of course, you don't want to do that before you stamp because that makes it very difficult to stamp on. So this is going to take just a couple minutes for me to get these in here and then take the backing off of those. You could use take your pick if you feel like your fingers aren't working very well to get those little paper backings off of there, but that worked okay. And then we're going to come in and we're going to, again, center this card, this layering piece, top to bottom, right to left. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and give that a little press, just a little nice press right there. All right, we've got our sentiment to a great guy. This is going to go over the middle of this little stamped flourish, or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to put it about right there, just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and add a layer to this sailboat, which just gives it some more dimension. I've seen this done before where you do multiple layers of the same image up and up and up and up and up. And it's a really kind of a cool idea. This is kind of what it's mimicking right now. And so we're going to go ahead and take the backings off of this. And you want to try and line it up right in line as best as you can with that underneath image. And then just like that. And there is, I mean, if people are looking, there is that layer of the sailboat underneath it. It's kind of a cool idea. Now, the final piece is this little anchor, and I already went ahead, so you didn't have to watch me. I attached the little piece of linen thread. I just looped it through there and made a knot. That's all you have to do. And then one little Stampin' Dimensional, and it's going to go up here to the top of our piece just by our sentiment. And let's move that down a little bit and put it right about there, just like so. And there we have our great card to a great guy. It's so cute. Not cute. It's very unique. I love how these cards are turning out. And that is the second one. So let's go ahead and bring in the final one. And this one, we've got all the parts and pieces. This one is going to go landscape. So let's go ahead and burnish this just like we normally would. And then we're going to go ahead and bring this in like this. Now, we've got some layering pieces here that we're going to go ahead and adhere. But first, we're going to do the stamping. That's going to be able to allow me to close up that ink pad so I don't get it in the way. So our final stamp that we're going to come in is the bird. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and ink these birds up, seagulls probably. And we are going to stamp these right about here on the back of our layering piece. And then now I'm going to close that up so I know that I'm not going to get my hands in it, get cards in it, anything like that. So let's set that aside. Bring in our layering pieces here. And again, I've put the tear and tape on the back, and I probably used more than you need, but I wanted to make sure they would adhere. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish all of these so that when I use when I take the backing off, it'll raise up very easily. And so we're going to go ahead and take these backing off of one of these. And when I did this earlier, I didn't have them as equally spaced as I would like them to have. So I'm going to do this a little differently this time. Before I started here, and then I put one layer and then the next layer and the next layer. And I didn't really like how that turned out because then I didn't have the spacing quite right at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to start and I'm going to put one here at the top. And I think that looks pretty straight and where I want it. So then I'm going to come in and I'm going to go ahead and take the second one. And so that I get it fairly equal distance from the top and to the bottom. Of course, no, I'm going to do it that way. Of course, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but I just wanted it to be fairly equal distance. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down, this bottom one, and that looks pretty good. Just like that, it looks fairly equal distance. So then when I come in to place my third one, then I can get it centered and I can have the same amount of space between each of these layering pieces and the top and the bottom. So just if you're working with 3 pieces and you're trying to get them equal distance, that's just a good little trick. I don't know why I didn't do it the first time, the first go around on the first card, but then I remembered, well, this is the way to do this because it just makes sense. And then if you're concerned about your distance in your spacing, then that makes it quite a bit more even all the way around. So there we go. That's the way we did that. Now we're going to go ahead and stick this on. And again, we need some Stampin' Dimensionals on this baby. So we're going to load it up here with a few and go ahead and stick this piece on after we get the backing off of these. I really, as far as a masculine set of cards, I do like this. I like the watercolor-esque feeling to it. It's very subtle, but yet soothing. So this is going to go, it's not going to go on the center. It's kind of going to go over to the left of our card just a little bit. And so we're going to place that right there, just like so. Then we've got a little interesting thing we're going to do here with this linen thread. Now we've got our sentiment and we've got our pelican. And I've already got the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. But what we're going to do with this, and bear with me because it took me a while on the first one that I did, this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to leave quite a bit there. We're going to go ahead and wrap this linen thread around this piece because it is the wooden post, if you will, at the dock. And so we're going to wrap that around several times. And then, you know, it looks like rope that you would see on the dock. So we're going to tie that. I did it a little bit better this time. I gave myself quite a bit more thread than I did the first time. And so I gave myself also quite a bit extra leeway with the ends to be able to tie it, because for some reason my fingers do not work as well as they used to in tying knots and bows. So there we go. I'm just going to come in and just snip these ends off. Maybe. Just like that. Like that. There's a little knot there. So there we have that piece. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that on my card and get the backings off this. It's just a very cool little extra elements to the card that adds a little bit more interest. And that kind of reminds you of, you know, pulling in to the marina. And this is going to go probably right. I'm going to butt that up there, and it's going to go probably right about like so. I probably, yeah, hold on. Got that. I don't want it to be on my layer. I want it to butt up against it. So let me try that again. We're going to butt that up against it, but we don't want it on it. So there. That's a lot better. There we have our pelican, and then finally our sentiment. They didn't tell you to do this in the instructions, but this side is going to be on the pelican. And so I just put a little mini glue dot there so it would just hold it down. I didn't do it on the first card, but I did it on this one just to give it a little extra security. Not necessary, obviously, but I just wanted to add that little piece to it. And on this one also, it tells you to layer 2 Stampin' Dimensionals. So I put one on top of the other because we need this piece to be higher than our pelican because otherwise it wouldn't pop up. So we're going to have this be up just a little bit higher. And the reason is, I think, because of this also. They just wanted it to be a little bit higher. So we're going to come in about right like that and put that right like there. Best wishes for a perfect day. It just adds a little bit more, and you need that. You need a little bit of that height because of the linen thread. So that's why they're stacked right there. So there we go. There's our third card. Best wishes for a perfect day. And again, this makes 6 cards. So obviously you have all the envelopes. You have 6 envelopes, 6 cards. So let's bring these back in just like that. And these are the cards we made today, friends. Super cool, super cute. Here are the other 3 with the matching envelopes. And with that, I'm going to turn this around and we are going to finish up for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in with me for the usual Kit Crush Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this kit. I will put the link to it in the comments at the end of this so that you too can go ahead and purchase this kit if you would like to. And again, share this with your friends and your family. Hit that like button. Let me know you watched. If you can't watch it, you know, right now, be sure to check out the replay later. It will be on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a wonderful week and a wonderful Wednesday evening. And we'll see you next week. Bye, friends.